Hi, this is John. While I'm at it, my Harbor Freight cheapo belt sander slash disc sander. Had it a number of years. They apparently make about 3 different versions, and this is the version I had picked out. I like it. Works fairly well. The belts were awful to change. Motor itself has not been an issue, and the only issue that I've really run into is that typical of a lot of items from that store, that it wants to beat itself up. So several of the nuts, washers, things like that had to be tightened fairly often. The carriage or case that is normally on there, I don't see where it's at now because it started beating itself off, would wrap around the entire bottom, encased in the sandpaper, and wrap around a little bit here in the front, and then it would have this front guard that you could go ahead and use as a stop to hold your piece of wood on there, that type of item. I don't use that. I like to go ahead and have both ends free on there, and I was looking at possibly upgrading to a different sander, but of course money is always a concern, and my main thing was that, okay, I want this to work, need to figure out how to work it out. And on this side over here, as far as showing up a close-up, all it is that 3 screws that were on there, I re-drilled and put in some self-tapping screws, much bigger, beefier, heavy-duty, so that it would hold the spindle in. The belt got to the point it wanted to shimmy and shift in there, and what it had been doing over time is the metal bracket that was the cover on the back side, it actually cut a sliver out of there. Well, it was basically breaking itself apart again. So the other thing is that by putting the cover on the bottom, yeah, I guess it protected the motor a little bit, and it had a dust port in the bottom here, but I thought it was kind of a bad spot, and I didn't really hook up dust collection to it. I just have general dust collection and clean up afterwards. With that, belt changes, pain in the butt. I've been getting to the point lately that if something is like, oh man, that's taking forever, well, in this case, it didn't take forever. It took 10 minutes. It would take 10 minutes to go ahead and take this guard off on there, go ahead and undo bolts on here, undo this entire cover, and at that point, finally get to this lever where you can adjust and slide and release it, slide it, take the belt off. Here you can see with the wear marks in here. I like to see it in this section. But the rest of it is actually pretty decent quality. So since that time, after I took the case off on there, since it would serve no useful purpose, I am a promoter of using guards and safety, but in this case it was not necessary. Now the belt, it takes longer for me to go ahead and walk over to the other side to pick out an actual belt and to put it on here. But literally it's just, take it, slide it on, put the release back on, rubber bands on here just to put a little tension on there, otherwise it rattles a little bit. But other than that, sander itself, it tracks well, no issues. The little at the end in there, it just seems to be part of the belt system in there, which, you know, it's not a big deal. Quite often I'll just have hearing protection on there or the radio going. I'm not using the disc on the side here, but I thought about actually taking that off and jerry-rigging something else on there. Don't know who this guy Jerry is, but you know, he needs to do some more stuff in my shop. But that is my take on the Harbor Freight sander, and it works out great. So I thoroughly enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Again, this is John.